Hello, everybody. Welcome to Weighted to Win. It's the sales weekend, and the guys are all very busy at the sales going on and buying horses. And well, hopefully we can get you some money as far as pick six money or whatever the circumstances are concerned, so that you might be able to buy into a syndicate post this 2-year-old sale at the TBA. Hello, Daryl. Darren, hope you guys had a good week.
Yeah,
okay,
very good
thanks.
weekend. The double did arrive last week, Voldemort into Salvador Mundi. I actually got to Hermanus for the weekend on the Saturday morning, and I managed to get onto the double, which paid for my trip.
What a boy.
And then went on to watch the box play, so it was a good one.
Well done. Very, very good week. So you enjoyed it, eh?
Yeah,
still in, I can see you still in holiday mode. That's great. Daryl,
Yes.
you good, eh?
All good, thanks, Clyde.
All right. So we've also got racing at Scottsville on Saturday. So we'll get into the Saturday meeting. What we'll do with the Saturday, we sort of decided we're not going to go into too much detail with the betting, etc., pick sixes and all of that sort of stuff for Scottsville, only because we found it to be quite a difficult and trying card, but we are going to give it our best shot. That's just a disclaimer from our show for your purposes, so that, as you know, this is a guide in terms of tipping and in terms of the betting. Everything is just a guide, and we trust that you will take that in good faith and add on to what we perhaps fancy. The scratching to Scottsville, those are the four that we've got at the moment. At this point in time, we haven't got a further update, this being Friday, so please remember that when you guys are placing your bets, which takes us into this quite trying Scottsville meeting, and I'll go straight into Darren's play, and I'll start with you, Darren. You want to have a strike quite early, I see.
Yes, Anton Marcus back, specially selected. On his best form, he's run second to the likes of Castletown. I put a line through his last run. He was odds-on favorite, but the 1,000-meter trip was always going to be too sharp. And he just found the track and the horses a bit too quick for him that day, and he found himself one-paced. Back to the 1,200 on a testing course. I think he's looking for a little bit further than this, but I think Anton will bring him home. My value bet, Mach 4, he has been running a bit awkward of late before his last start. And then it was an encouraging last run. I think he's going to build on that in this sort of field, and I'm expecting a big run from Mach 4. He has got ability, and I think we're going to see the best of him this season.
Okay, so we'll certainly watch out for that double on the day at Scottsville. As far as Daryl is concerned, Daryl, you have found the best bet on the card.
Yeah, Clyde. Unfortunately, the first best bet has been scratched, Hasta Manana. But I really like the look of Intuitive. She's another daughter of Visionaire, and the Visionaires did us well last weekend. Our value bet ran second at 20-1. Now this daughter of Visionaire, I like the fact that she's back up the straights at Scottsville. Now this is the course and distance that she managed to win her maiden over, and she did it extremely impressively. And I love that comeback run last time at Greyville. She was out of her ground, and she quickened so well. She actually just got tired the last 50 meters. She looked all over a winner. That race would have brought her in leaps and bounds, and I think she's still got more to offer. I don't believe we've seen the best of her. She's my best bet on the card, and I think she's worth a strike at 33-10.
Okay, well, that might be some good value as far as the guided betting is concerned. And that gives us the Weighted to Win double on the day, which is pretty much in the first race specially selected into Intuitive at 33-10. And perhaps you can ask for 10-11-1 the stretch on those two horses for the Scottsville race meeting on Saturday. The HOLLYWOODBETS Scottsville meeting Saturday. The preview of the Sunday TURFFONTEIN race meeting. Let's get straight into that action now, and we'll start up with the betting on race number 4. Remember, this is just purely a guide, and starting with the pick 6, which is a divided handicap it's a sprint up the straight. But I see that on cue, and I'll stay with Daryl for the moment, as far as the market goes, some of them indicating that she's just short at 15-10. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, Clyde, she's got a lively chance of the year. You know, she's a young 3-year-old. She won her only handicap starts. She traveled well beyond the leaders over there, and she finished her race off extremely well. I don't believe the extra 160 meters will be a problem, just as long as they adopt similar tactics and give her a slight chance in the beginning. I think she'll be staying on starkly. I like the look of number 1 over here, Me Time. Now, I know she was assisted by a good draw last time out, but I believe she won with a little bit in hand, and she only picked up a £3 penalty. A lot of people are going to say that form line wasn't franked, but believe you me, Sekhmet is much more consistent than what her last run shows. I'm willing to ignore that effort. I thought it was a below par run. And in my mind, Me Time hasn't been striding the best in recent runs. And I like the way that she won last time out. To me, she could be back to herself and she could be feeling well within herself. So I think she's the value in the race. I do believe it lies between number 1 and 3 of year. And I think there's more value about Me Time at 6-1 than the current favorites.
Okay, that's quite an interesting call, Darren. I'll come to you now. It's up the straight. It's if you have a look at the field size, at this point in time, we don't have any card changes, but 10, 11 of them running up the straight. Me Time drawn 6 and On Cue drawn 10. As much of a muchness as far as draws go.
Well, the draws usually favor the outside draws in the straight, especially at TURFFONTEIN stand side. So On Cue, the best draw of 10. She did previously try the 11 and 1200. She didn't find much of a finish, but on her pedigree and her last start, I think this is what she's actually looking for. And she should take some beating on her last win. She really stayed on strongly at the finish, and she can build on that. Me Time, like Daryl said, she went through a couple of months where she was striding really short on the way to start and during the race. But last time out, she moved really well and won a good race. And off this competitive rating of 73, Me Time can follow up in this race. We've also included Big City Girl that ran 4.5 lengths off Me Time previously and is about 1.5 kilos better off on that run, but is better up the straight. Her last 3 starts have been around the bend. She goes up the straight again. I think she'll be competitive.
All right, so that's the opening leg of the Big Six, race number 4 in the card. We'll go to straight from there, Darren. I'll stay with you for race number 5, for which one would believe that Full Velocity is quite hard to beat at odds on, 8 or 9 to 10 or whatever you're going to get with whomever you play. She does appear the right or the hard horse to beat in the race, as far as form goes anyway.
Yes, she has the best form in the race. She's got solid form, never runs a bad race. And last time out, she was just beat by a better horse on the day in Riverstown, who can really run on his day. So that wasn't a bad run. Back against her own sex, I think Full Velocity, one of the best bets on the card. Lyle Hewitson for Sean Terry. It is our banker in the pick 6, and she'll take a lot of beating.
Okay, Daryl, is there a danger to Full Velocity that one might have to worry about or not?
Banker or field, Clyde?
Okay.
I think she's a banker. She's a confident banker. In my opinion, she was very unlucky not to win her 2nd and 3rd starts. I think her inexperience caught her out. And just have a look at her 2 wins subsequently. They were in open company against Colton Geldings and very decent sorts, as I might add. Last time out, she was beaten by Riverstown, Captain Moresco, Bowie. Very, very strong field. There's no doubt she's on the upgrade. She's got more to offer, and she'll take a power beating. I do believe she represents those odds. If you're looking to take an exacta, I mean, the 7-year-old 12 Oaks, she hasn't won in 800 odd days, but she's where is thereabouts. I'd throw into the exacta position, and one that it could improve now that she's changed stables. Changes as good as a holiday. I see they fitted the tongue tie onto Milan's Princess. Now in the front of the computer form, Boren Voitis does quote saying that she'll need the run, but she is in receipt of 7 kilograms from the favorites, and she does have pace. And with the going on top, she could stay on for 2nd. So for the exacta, I'd go banker 4 by 6 and 7.
Okay, 4 by 6 and 7, but pick 6s, they're quite confident. Full Velocity is a hard horse to beat. And I'll stay with you, Daryl, for the 6th race. I like Godswood. I know he's 7-1 in the market over here. I think personally think he's the right horse in the race. And just looking at him, I see he's gone up to a 90. He was coming down nicely from an 89 to an 86. One off the 86 mark, gone back to the 90. Will use his claim in the race. Much of a muchness in terms of who he's taking on here. I think he might just well be the right horse at 7-1.
There's some line of form using Elysian Chief. Now, he gave Elysian Chief 3.5 kilograms and a beating, whereas Marengo gave Elysian Chief 0.5 kilogram and was beaten by Elysian Chief. So on a line through a listening sheaf, Godswood should hold Marengo quite comfortably, but that's on paper. They're running on grass. The favorite Irfan's boy, a nice young up-and-coming 3-year-old. I'm willing to put a line through that gold medallion run. That was in the soft of a 1200. He's clearly better than that. And just have a look at his penultimate start. He ran second behind Good Traveller. Now, Good Traveller came out to win the Premier's Champion Stakes Grade 1. So that's strong enough form to certainly win a merit-rated handicap 84. A horse I like at quite big odds is number 12, Imitation Game. Now, he's very troublesome at the start, but if he breaks well, he's got a lot of pace about him. And who better to have Samunga Kamala in the irons on a pacey sort that's going to be up front. I just hope that he gets a clean break and he's able to get a length or two on the field. And with 55 kilograms to shoulder, he may well prove a difficult customer to peg back. The second favorite, Grappler, I think he's got his work cut out. We have included him though, but he did pick up a big penalty. And I think the dropping trip is a negative on his behalf, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him win. He's just not in my first 3.
Okay, that's interesting that you picked up on that outsider. I was going to have, funny enough, I was say Calvin Habib on the show, because as you know, he's injured and he of course rode your Imitation Game last time. But with the sales on, everybody's really busy over there at the moment, so we'll do it. We'll probably get hold of him for next week and chat about him and what he likes for that particular card. But to you, Darren, let's bring you in now and talk about the race. It tends to be competitive from what I'm picking up, and in terms of form. I mean, yes, I'm a Godswood fan myself, but I suppose it's more open, and you need quite a few horses.
Yes, I think we've included about 9 horses in the pick 6 just to be safe. But I am leaning towards Godswood. I think it was a really good last win, beating Elysian Chief, who came out to win very well next time out. And the 2.5 kilos off his back is going to help from a decent draw of 6. On the standside track over 1,000 meters last time he raced there, he got touched off by Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades received, I think, 8 kilos from him that day. Now he only receives 1.5 kilos. So Godswood is much better off at the weights with Ace of Spades on that run. And I think he is the horse to beat and good value. Of the rest, a horse like Winter Watch, she slowly dropped in the merit ratings down to a competitive mark. She's run 2 decent thirds, and she's drawn hard up on the outside of 13. That brings her into the race. And then Irfan's boy, back to the 1,000 meters, and is run to Good Traveller, really good run in a feature race. He must have a good chance.
Okay, so yeah, difficult. I see that you're picking up on Godswood and Winter Watch, but quite an open race, that particular event. Well, let's have a look then at the 7th, and this takes us to, and I'll stay with you, Darren. It's a novice handicap over 2,000 meters, and this is where Oris Apollo's top of the boards again. Samunga Kamala probably got a fair decent chance on the day, if you look at jocks with carded rides, etc. But is it one of those again where you're going to need runners in a novice?
Yes, it does. It does look like you need runners in a race like this. It is a novice handicap. It's not level weights. A horse like Oris Apollo, he's done his best over the marathon trips of 2,400, 2,600. But in this sort of field, he's got to have a big say, and Samunga Kamala in the saddle. Others to consider: Immeasurable. He won a maiden. He didn't get a penalty for that win by 3.5 lengths, as it wasn't a strong field. And then he followed it up with an average run over the 2,400 meter trip. He drops back to 2,000 meters. He's a lightly raced 5-year-old, and he could have more to come. Others to consider: Elusive Swan. If he sees out the 2,000 meter trip, he's a runner. His merit rating has tumbled down to 67, and his last run over 1,400 meters, he ran a very good second. He has placed over 1,800 meters, which suggests he could see the trip out, and he must go in. And then Ball Rolling, a handy galloping weight of 54. There was big money for him last time out, and he only faded the last 100 meters to get beat by 2 lengths. He must go in.
Interesting. Thanks, Darren. Daryl, there were not many novice handicaps that I've come through or seen, but I suppose this time of the year is perhaps when they'll do best. when you have the E divisions type horses competing. Daryl, how do you see it?
Clyde, I don't see much pace in this race, and we're probably going to see the top weights take it up. But on form, he's held by Oris Apollo. You just have to go back to the Smiley River run. I think he's beaten by 4 1/4 lengths. But you know what? A little bit of luck in running in a race like this could certainly swing it around. But Oris Apollo, we saw a nice exacta from that stable during the week. So I'm hoping that they're going to bounce back to best and strike some good form going forward. I think Oris Apollo will certainly appreciate dropping back in trip. I think he won his maiden of the 2000. So he's a lively contender over here. But you know what? There's no up-and-coming star over here, and it is a handicap. And I found a little bit of value for the weighted-to-win viewers in number 10, Drummer Boy. Now, like I touched on, all you need is some luck in running, and they could determine the outcome in a race like this. And yeah, you've got Muzi Yeni, drawn 1, 52 kilograms to shoulder. The horse is super fit, and he had excuses last time out. And just going back to 1 or 2 of his runs in the past, he's certainly not without a chance over here. And I think around about 25, 29 to 2 for the top 3, he represents some value. That's number 10, Drummer Boy. And then obviously Ball Rolling, I thought he was doing it a bit hard without cover last time out. And I don't see much pace in the race over here. So I'm just hoping that Appy can get some cover quickly and get him to switch off, because he does have a little bit of a turn of foot to dispose of field like this. But my each way bets in the race, number 10, Drummer Boy, at big odds.
Okay, he's not in the market, Drummer Boy, but I see he has come down quite a lot as far as ratings goes now, 52. I think he might even still be out at the weights if I've got my facts correct. What's the one above him? He's a 53, 56, yeah. So he's probably still out of the weights, but listen, you found him. So why not? Let's make use of him. Thank you for that. That's the 7th race. Daryl, let's go to the 8th now, which is the final leg of the jackpot. And this particular event is, again, we go back into a novice handicap, and it's over 1,400 meters. And this time it brings the girls together. Where City by the Sea is 7-2, but they are betting 7-2 the field. And I would imagine a difficult race, unless it's something that you've picked up on.
Clyde, yeah, you know what? Many of them, these are fairly exposed. They're in their right mark at the moment. However, there is one in the race over here that's returning from a gelding, and if that has brought him on, he could be ahead of the handicapper, and that's Double Martini. Obviously, it all depends on if he's not in need of this run and if he's come on since the gelding. So I respect his chances, because barring his last start, he didn't disgrace himself out the maiden ranks. And with Lyle Hewitson up from a good draw, he could be a live wire over here. Others I want to touch on, Officer. Now, here's another one with plenty positives about him. You've got Samanga Kamalo, drawn 1. He's having his peak run. I know he's held by Elusive Woman, but on that occasion, he was drawn on the wrong side of the course. This time out, he's drawn 1, so he's a draw strike. I've got healthy respect for Officer. And then a horse like number 5, Midnight Caller. Now, he's been contesting 1,000 and 1,200. I think for him, he might have found those distances a little bit too quick for him. Now that he's stepping up to the 7 furlongs, I think we're going to see a much better effort on his behalf. And then you can never discount the Paul Peter, Warren Kennedy combination. That's City by the Sea. Unlucky not to pull off the gamble last time out, but I think he's got his work cut out over here. I do prefer the likes of Double Martini, Officer, and Midnight Caller, but he's certainly going into my pick 6. That's City by the Sea.
Okay. Yeah, and of course, where the fillies are participating in this race, for those in terms of the handicaps, just to remind everybody, of course, that the sex allow those first-time viewers, etc., their sex allowance that they're entitled to is factored already into the handicap. Darren, how do you see this now, final leg of the pot?
Well, I'm in the camp of Midnight Caller. I like the fact that he's dropped 3 points from his last start. It took them a while to drop him. 6 runs back, he was rated 73. And his last start, 72. He ran 4th to Grappler over the 1,200 meter trip. He's going to appreciate the step up to 14, and he's got a good draw. The blinkers are on again, and behind in that Grappler form, we saw Midnight Gem come out and win a really good race yesterday. He was 5th in that race. Midnight Caller was 4th. He's even competed in the SA Derby. They obviously thought a lot of him. And I think this is the right kind of race for Midnight Caller. So he'll be my first choice over horses like Elusive Woman. She's been consistent as her ratings come down, but she has a very wide draw to contend with, and that could count against her. Dark Travel, 2 runs at this course, a second to Mama Quera, beaten a nose, and last time out, 3rd to Top Wesselton. She does her best work late. I think she'll be competitive. And then City by the Sea, the best of the rest.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the final leg of the jackpot then, and look out for Midnight Caller in that 8th race. 9th race on the card, we'll have a look at that. And let's just quickly take up the final leg of the Pick Six, and it's a classified stakes over 1,600 meters. Market here number, I thought field. Personally, I've made it a very difficult race. 3-1 the field. We have 4 Signals as top of the boards at the moment. For Sean Terry, who could have a very good day. He's got some strong runners as well. Taking on the likes of the Cambo, who I think has come in. As I looked at various sites, and I see the Cambo has been short. They've been grabbing away at the Cambo bits and pieces on various sites. So Darren, you were last in terms of telling us what to do. What did we do race 9?
Well, I actually liked a lot of the Cambo. His local debut was a really good 5th. He got beat 0.15 lengths. He actually looked a winner going through the 50-meter mark, and he started shifting inwards, and he was a difficult ride. But I think he runs his best races handy. And last time out, he was caught about midfield, and he was pulling a little bit. He was a bit strong around the bend. And I'm hoping from a good draw that he goes forward and either leads or sits 2nd or 3rd on the fence. And I think he'll outstretch them in the home run. His last run was really good. And on his best Cape Town form before that, he ran 1 length off the likes of Sabrina's Prodigy, 3 lengths Star of the South, 1 length a Linga Longa. And that sort of form of his current rating, I do believe that he is the horse to beat. Signals, very good run. First run out the maidens, should be competitive, but has a wide draw to contend with. And anything else for the minor placings.
Okay, Daryl, I'll bring you straight in here as far as the final leg of the Pick Six. Is it a field race?
No, I don't believe so, Clyde. You know, coming out on tops is Anatura and Pascal Samor, but Pascal Samor's off form, so I'm willing to ignore her. Anatura, you know what? She's 2 kilograms better with Al Ramiachi for 4.5 lengths. I think she could get closer to him. And then Signals, obviously, just have a look at the effect that the tongue ties had on him. He's been fitted with it twice, and he suddenly found his form. That seems to get the best out of him. So he's obviously in with a lively chance of a year. And then Al Ramiachi, if you just take a line, well, you take a pen and you put a line through his Vaal runs, he doesn't feature up the Vaal straight. He's going to appreciate being back around the bend of a year. And his latest victory was with Gav Lorena in the irons. He obviously gets a good tune out of him. So he's going to be my first pick, Al Ramiachi. Healthy respect for Anatura. And then the Cambo, if the race doesn't come too soon for him, he put up a decent enough debut for his new trainer on the half field. You have to respect his chances. So I think the betting spots of a year, I think it lies between the top 4 in the betting. 2, 3, 4, and 8. My first pick is Al Ramiachi.
Okay, when it comes to classified stakes, I mean, when you look at those races, you look at the benchmarks here. I think they weighted set weights in terms of your handicap. So if you're like 68 and above, I think you end up carrying 60 or top weight or thereabouts. Then if you're under 68 in the next bracket, you carry 58. Between like 64 and 67, the next bracket between 60 and 63 or 64, you carry 56. And that's what basically the classified stakes does in terms of compressing. But all right, so maybe not as difficult as I'm making out the last race. You guys have summarized the 9th. And now let's have a look at what your Pick Six looks like, which I see we widespread, but we are aiming ultimately at the second leg of the Pick Six in terms of the banker. We do believe that's going to be very hard to beat race 5, number 4 on the card. And as we saw, the market was suggesting about 8 or 9 to 10 with regards to full velocity. That's our banker on the pick for this Pick Six. Darren, you've got quite a few bets going.
Yes, I have. I actually like the Lyle Hewitson double, Fisher King and full velocity. Fisher King, his first run back after the gelding, he really, he won a fantastic race last time out. And on his pedigree, being out of a Galileo mare, I don't think he's going to have a problem with the mile. And I expect him with 52 kilos in a 90 handicap. I think he'll follow up and full velocity. The double's around 4-1. And if you want to add to that, to the treble, to the double, you can add the camber in race 9 into the treble, and that's 17-1.
Okay, that's an interesting one that you've got there with that fun treble of the day. But those are your bets. I somehow agree Fisher King very hard to beat on the card. Daryl, you haven't got a best bet, but you have found a double-figured horse to maybe upset the apple cart in the 7th race.
Yeah, Clyde, obviously full velocity. If I had to have a best bet, she'd undoubtedly be the one. So if you're looking to take a double, possibly take her for a win into Drummer Dude each way. I do believe he represents value in the race. You know what? I just hope he breaks well. And with that postage stamp weight that he's set to carry, he could certainly be there when it counts most. I won't be shocked to see him in the money.
All right, excellent. Thank you for that. And then Weighted to Win double, we've used some of the bets. You've got Fisher King, I beg your pardon, is it race 4? Or should it be race 3?
Race 3.
Yeah, okay, we need to make sure that that's correct. So I'm glad we picked that up. So that's race 3, number 7, Fisher King at 16-10, into race 5. Is it number 5? No.
Number 4.
No, fortunately we got it live and we can edit it whilst we do it. That's correct. And then you race 7, number 10, Drummer Dude. That's right, eh? So race 3, number 7, Fisher King. Race 5, number 4, Full Velocity, and Drummer Dude at 9-2. If you'll get that a place, but perhaps ask for 30-1 the stretch. That might be a bit of a cheat, but we'll ask anyway, won't we? All right.
No harm in asking.
No harm in asking. And then I think this was Fisher King. I was very, very impressed with Fisher King's last one. I thought he was super, super impressive. He looks like a typical Dingaan's horse to me, this, and I think he's going to take a power of beating. I took a wild pick 6. This is just I'm bankering Godswood. Don't shout at me. I'm loading at the back. It's a small pick 6. It's the wild play. Add to it if you believe there's something else to go in there as well. And that's it from us. It was a quick, short show, and I'm glad hopefully you all enjoyed it. Remember, it's every Friday night. We hope that you will join us again really soon to watch. Everybody's at the sale this weekend and busy buying horses. The season is about to come back. The Gauteng, the Highveld season anyway starts pretty soon. The springs, I think it's the Spring Stakes that comes up soon as well. And you'll see quite a bit of action in October. So the feature seasons are now starting to build, and then we go into the Western Cape, as you well know, and we'll see quite a good mix from everybody. But looks like an interesting card, although this time of the year, boys, I guess it's tough. These E-Division race meetings are not easy, so we have to do our best to fathom it out.
Let's hold thumbs, Clyde. We found the banker, and let's hope we get the results where we've gone wider.
Excellent. Darren, no more holiday. I know you got the winners and you got the money, but carry on studying.
Yes, no, the holiday's over, but we'll have a good weekend, I'm sure. Scottsville, we chose not to tip any exotics. It's a difficult card, but we can always have a strike or two with the best bets and the value bets.
And I think there's been some comments demanding the bipods come back, so we need to maybe look at those as well.
Okay, for sure.
Okay, well done, guys. Thanks very much for everything.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.